Set of talks, we move on to the next one. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Somshila Murthy, and my identity is that I'm from L.V. Prasad Eye Institute. I would like to invite Dr. Rajiv Reddy, who's the vice chair of the same institute, and our founder, chairman is already here, Dr. G.N. Rao. And Dr. Rajiv Reddy, who's also a retina specialist, now is in the role of vice chair for the past few years, will take us through the journey of one more story of glory.
Just click it on. Thank you, Somshila. Good afternoon, everyone. So this one is working. Is that okay? Yeah. Thank you. So we have been listening to multiple stories of multiple organizations for the past one and a half hour. And it's been an interesting journey, and we have learned a lot from everyone. And I'm going to talk about the story of L.V. Prasad Eye Institute and how we have grown. So L.V. Prasad Eye Institute is a non-profit organization working towards preventing a needless blindness and a vision impairment. This story started in 1986, where one person's dream to give excellent eye care and reconcile it with equity and get that to the population where he was in. And that's where, and we started in road number 2, Banjara Hills in Hyderabad, with a small 2-story building. And 35 years later, we have reached a place where we have 3 tertiary centers and 1 center of excellence spread across 3 states and 22 secondary centers, which goes into the smaller towns, and 250 vision centers, which goes into a smaller remote rural villages, so that all may see. So how did we reach there is what we am going to talk about. So in the beginning of our journey, we did an epidemiological study called Andhra Pradesh IDC study, which gave us an information or an insight into what was the need of the population. Though we started giving an excellent eye care at Hyderabad, we realized with this study that there is much more and the need is more down in the deeper areas. So that's what made us change our path at that time and went into developing a pyramidal model where we reach where the need is. So that's where in the remote and rural villages. So this is our pyramidal model where we have a vision guardians serving 5,000 population and the vision centers manned by a vision technician in the remote rural villages which are serving to 50,000 population. And the secondary centers where a simplest of cataract surgeries and some of the simpler surgeries can be done at secondary center for a population of 5 lakhs. And at tertiary centers where we do complex surgeries are including or take care of all the complex issues, which is around 5 million population. So how does this work? So this works, this is an example of what we could do with the pyramidal model. This is a small baby who was in remote rural village of Andhra Pradesh, where our vision technician sitting in the vision center could pick up, there is a white reflex, and with the technology of a teleconsult could transfer those images to the tertiary center and able to identify and refer that patient to the next level where we could take care of the retinoblastoma and treat that patient and bring back the life and the smiles back to that patient. This is how an integrated approach, and these patients can be followed up back in again in the vision centers whenever there is a need. So, and all this with the technology enabled centers where the patient once under a system can be tracked anywhere, wherever it is, using electronic medical records. So using the pyramidal system from screening to the management of most complex diseases. Uh, at the same time, where we cannot help, vision rehabilitation is something which we always wanted to help people who cannot see and help them achieve their independence and confidence in gaining that. So when we started L.V. Prasad Eye Institute, we had three primary functional arms. It's a patient first, is a patient care, which is there behind in all we do. Education and research. These are the three basic functional arms with which we started. Over a period of time, we realized the need, and we started an eye banking, capacity building, rural and community health, and vision rehabilitation. Of late, the recent additions to this are technology and innovation and product development. As I said, the patient care or patient first is our main motto. We keep up with the patient care technologies and keep up with all these technologies which are coming up. We have seen multiple technologies coming up. But at the same time, not losing sight of the community at large. So we use this technology to reach people and make sure that nobody goes needlessly blind. And so that's what we want to do and we are doing. And with the referral management, like what I was talking about, you're able to take care of whatever may be the simplest or the complex of issues closer to the doorstep to the extent possible. And where it's not possible, your referral system will take care of them and then send them back to where they are able to take care of them there. iBanking is something which we started when in the early part of our journey, realizing that the need for eye tissue, which is lacking in India. So, and there is a lot of corneal blindness which was seen. So the eye banking with the hospital recovery program, we could reach a stage where we are harvesting at 10,000 corneas in a year and are able to distribute almost like 8,000 corneas in a year. This distribution doesn't happen only in L.V. Prasad Eye Institute. Almost 50% of them will be given to the people, the cornea specialists across India. So this is not just for L.V. Prasad Eye Institute Eye Bank, it's for the whole pan India. At the same time, we believe in building a capacity. So we helped developing other eye banks across in India so that we don't have a corneal blindness problem. At the same time, we were talking about education. So when we started in L.V. Prasad Eye Institute, before we started the clinical services, the education is already started. We started first with an education programs. The reason is at that time, we realized education is something which is going to take us go to the next level, always. So we train all cadres of eye care cadre, right from vision technicians to the ophthalmology fellowship programs and PhDs. So we have multiple collaborations across the world where we have programs running together. Uh, One of the unique program which we have started recently is a master's in ophthalmic engineering with IIT Hyderabad, where we include this program for all those people who wanted to innovate and get an understanding both for engineers and doctors. It's a combined program where they can understand the other component of their field. Like I wanted an ophthalmologist understanding the engineering, an engineer understanding the ophthalmology, so that you can do a better job in innovating things which are needed for the people. At the same time, we looked at the needs. It's not just in India. So we looked at an area which is in West Africa called Liberia. There was a need there, and there was a request from them. And we started building our own network there, along with the help of the government there. Then we realized there are no ophthalmologists available in that place. There is no residency program. So we started residency program to train an ophthalmologist and then help them grow the model there in that area. So this is the first set of ophthalmologists who come out of our program with a residency there. Research has always been our main focus right from the inception. But the main focus of research is translational research. So when we talk about research, it's not just a publication, it's about how to get this research to the patient who's at the bottom of the uh, place. Backed by the, the labs which are well equipped with the scientists, the basic scientists and clinician scientists, we're able to translate this research into few of the techniques and technologies which we can transfer to the patients. So that's what resulted in more than 5,000 publications we have made and few of the technologies which we have able to give to the patients. We talk about newer innovation and innovation technology arm, which we started recently. Again, here the focus is mainly on the last mile connectivity. So, if you look at the instruments which we have developed, like uh, uh, handheld instruments or the visual field measurement machine or a pediatric perimeter. So these are the ones which are focusing on areas which are not there, or the technologies and techniques which need there, and when you're dealing with the patients in the remote rural villages. That's a main focus area for a technology and innovation center. But along with that, we started something called a BioNest, which is an incubator where we have an engineering department with all state-of-art technologies. If anyone with a new idea or innovative idea wants to develop that, what we realized is there is not much of a support around. That's where we want to put our help there and say that we are ready to help you to realize your dream. That's how we can make a difference to people. So this is a BNS which we have started new, and where we have already have 4 incubators working with us and working with them and making their dream realize. Not but not the visual rehabilitation is one thing which we always forget most of the times when we are in the clinic, but that in LV Prasad Eye Institute, that is something which we always focus on and make their life better. So in overall, we could touch 34 million people, but most importantly, 50% or more of them are served at no cost to the patients, with the basic principle of no patient who comes to our services should go back without getting a treatment done due to lack of money. With all this, what we have achieved is many accolades across the world, and one of them is we are ranked 8th among eye health institutions in research and by Schemago ranking, and a Greenberg Prize, 4 of Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Awards, and 3 Padma Shri Awards. We could achieve all this by visionary leadership with values of patient first, excellence, equity, integrity, and doing all this with togetherness. With a committed and extraordinary team, and friends and family support across the globe with their time, treasure, and talent, we could achieve all this. In summary, I would say LV Prasad Eye Institute is committed to contribute towards eradicating needless blindness, build partnerships with the national and global organizations to achieve that so that all may see. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajiv. That was, of course, to me, it was wonderful to be part of this, and I'm sure everybody else has benefited from knowing about the glory that is L.V. Prasad Eye Institute. Can I invite the other members of scientific committee to come up to the stage, and Dr. Partha Biswas? Parikshit, perhaps you could join us. And it's again my pleasure and honor to introduce the next speaker. This is about the legendary institute from the government sector this time, the Rajendra Prasad Center, and from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. And all of you, of course, we all know about the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. We also know about Professor Titial, sir, who again doesn't need any introduction. And he's going to take us through the story of RPC.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, friends. Indeed, it's real honor for me to stand here and talk something for an institute which has been, representation of the country's ophthalmic practice for so many years. And being a part of this institute, I feel really honored and privileged to talk something on this institute, which has given so many things to our, you can say, society. The beginning is always has been challenging, better. It was one person named Professor Lalit Prakash Agarwal who thought about creating the National Institute of Ophthalmology. And he created that single handedly with wish, with dedication, and the hard work to achieve such thing with so much of a barrier and resistance from the all sectors of the government and the institute per se. You all know that Dr. Rajendra Prasad Center for Ophthalmic Sciences is a part of All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. You can understand it is a part of an institution, and to survive and to grow within the institute in today's scenario is going to be real challenging. And that is what the newer generation or younger generation would feel that RP Center is a different which was there when it was established in 1967. And we all began with a small area, a department in AIMS, and subsequently it turned out to be one of the first centers in ophthalmic scenario in the country. And in fact, it all looked for improving the quality of life of a people who are coming as a patient, the quality of life of those people coming as a educationists, teachers, and improving the quality of our teaching to our students and the entire staff who are working in this institute. The motto was to from darkness to light. I think we all work for that in our scenarios. Looking on to the mission of the RP Center at that time, it still holds true to provide world-class eye care services to all masses, right from the poorer to the BBIP or a BIP people in this country, and give a education to the society through the widely or importantly selected people who come for doing their post graduation in this particular institute and make them self sufficient to develop themselves, to develop institutions, and to develop the need of country to take forward the entire eye health services and make sure we have approached not only the central of capital, look for peripheral areas and the community services also. So looking these areas of three important areas, I'm just looking what RP Center has achieved in last 5 or 6 decades in terms of patient care, research, and teaching. I put patient care first here because in last 5 decades, the entire motto of All India Institute of Medical Sciences changed. It was built to make one of the leading national important institution for teaching. That was the primary aim, and second was research, and third was patient care. But unfortunately, in last so many decades, with the influence of masses, the patient care has become a number one, and the patient care has taken the research and education to a secondary and tertiary level, which we keep on fighting that all teaching and research will be a primary aspect. And thankfully, across the country, we have very nice institution coming up in the last 2 3 decades, which are actually doing a good teaching and research, especially the super specialty teaching in our country. And all these three things could be possible by the previous chiefs of center who have dedicated their work life to this institute and the faculty of RP Center who has done so much of work to take this institute up there and maintain its hierarchy amongst all the teaching institutions in government sector per se. In patient care, we should thank the idea of Professor L.P. Agarwal that time to create the subspecialty clinics, which now we have more than 16 subspecialty clinics. In fact, now, if you see today in the 21st century, they have become super specialty centers. And people are working on those areas to create the fellowship programs, the MCS programs, so that we look for delivering the teaching and the quality services to our patients and students in that area. So this is one which is an opening for our entire country to look into a basic aspect of how to enhance these services of ophthalmic field in these cases. I would say these type of modules have created the vision for many, many others. We did went through the area of improvisation. Microsurgery came in the 80s in the RP center, and it was the people who thought about that diagnostic also important part, and we acquired the basic diagnostic features and had various labs coming up because that was a change which happened in around 80s and 90s where we are looking for diagnostics for these various areas. We developed cornea research lab, we developed the glaucoma research lab, and subsequently retina lab to have a wider access for a patient care, the instrumentation equipment, and start the procedural aspect in those cases also. And that opened the door for us rotating our agent doctors in these areas to get more awareness of these newer things in these areas. So all these initiation would always take some sort of input from not only from the faculty members, the institutional administration and government services, because it is a government aided hospital for improving their world-class services also. In fact, if I look back in last 2 decades, there has been so much change in our infrastructure build-up, and thankfully we could sustain the pressure of the new things and could acquire these new devices to build up a system which is as par with the international standards and not less than them. And that will give you not only the confidence to our patients, it also gives the access of a student to see all these things. If I see if RP Center is a premier institute for a residence training, then they should have seen everything. They should have gone through all these areas, and they should not say that I've not seen or I've not done these things when they go out of RP Center. In fact, today we are the major suppliers of high quality students to all these institutions where they do fellowships. So we are actually making the manpower for a country to get through the thank you to get the requirement taken care of these areas. So we did acquire the various newer things, newer treatment areas, and take the institution up. And it's not only the research teaching; it is also for patient care also. I-banking system is a part and parcel of any hospital. In fact, any postgraduate institution needs to have an I-banking system. And RP Center is one of the largest I-bank in the government sector. In fact, we supply the preservative mediums to almost more than 20, 30 government institutions, and we supply more than 3,000 MK medium to these places to sustain them. RP Center has always been one of the best ophthalmic services in the country. And our community ophthalmology section, you all know we started with the mobile units as a part of NPCB that era. Now we have a separate department. In fact, this is the first department in the government sector which come out with a community ophthalmology department. And they have really done justice. We've done a lot of work with the association, with the NPCB, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare Government in India, conducted various surveys, and we are part of Vision 2020 initiative. And now we are looking for various development of a software for national registry for eye care infrastructure and a human resource development in these cases. One of the first I think one of the first you can say study to look into blindness in India was the ICMR assisted initiation 1971-73. Then we had the NPCB in 1976. In fact, now we are the part of WHO Collaborating Center. We're now doing a lot of work with them to have some sort of inputs in our community services also. So we have now not only the NPCB, the WHO is also important part to strengthen the primary care research and looking for various aspects of blindness. If you see, these are studies we have done to look at blindness right from the 71 to 2019. And the initial, you can see, if you look into a prevalence of blindness, 1.38, it's come down to 0.36, the requirement of 0.3, we are already there. In fact, this is a massive work the country has done to improve the blindness profile of a country. These are new surveys we are on for these patients. In fact, you will be surprised, India was never declared trachoma free because you don't see those many patients. We have never worked to create this survey to really give the data to WHO to say that India is trachoma free. In that way, we did a study and published in 2019, which says that India is free of active trachoma. Now the study we are doing is through TT study, which is going to complete very soon, maybe next month. After that, WHO will declare India trachoma free, and it is one of the few countries in Southeast Asia which is still in WHO written trachoma prevalence high. Then studies which looks into our rehabilitation profile. We are doing a lot of study in that. And teaching-wise, we have acquired various newer modalities for teaching, including the National Ophthalmic Surgical Skill Development Center, with highly, you can say, skilled areas, including the newer, you can say, simulators to give you more access. And we have a dedicated team of people working to improve the caliber of our resident doctors who nowadays come fresh without having touched a patient also when they join the PG program nowadays. So we do a complete assessment of these people, do training. Unless they get a certification that they are proficient in a wet lab training, they are not allowed to do human surgeries. And even after human surgery, their videos are recorded every surgery, and they are reviewed subsequently also. In our wet lab, it's not only cataract surgery, the training is there for every type of ophthalmic surgery, right from the corneal surgeries, refractive surgery, to squint surgery and vitreoretina surgeries. And ASP Center has been a pioneer in the workshops. In earlier days, the workshop used to be for 7 to 15 days. And now we don't have time. Now we have webinars, seminars, but we do around 15 workshops in a year and do a lot of subspecialty workshop to create the awareness amongst the government sector, students, and look for improvement the quality here. As far as research is concerned, yes, we don't have a specific, you can say, translational research areas, but we had various departments, right from the ocular biochemistry, pathology, microbiology to radiodiagnosis to support these areas, and we do a lot of research. In fact, in terms of a publication, we are the leaders in number of publication every year in ophthalmic field. And that also is very important aspect for our teaching areas, where the student has to think and develop the talent to write a paper right from the day when they join RP Center. Our alumni are there everywhere in the country, in the world, and they are leaders. They have established themselves and they have worked for our country's betterment. In fact, not only the teaching areas, research areas, people in the societies also. And largest number of the presidents and secretaries of All India Ophthalmology Society has been from RP Center in various sub-specialty areas also. That's an important contribution also. Future-wise, RP Center has to work because we are already growing old, because more than 55 years. This is our 56th year of existence. We have to look for a advancement into higher degrees, super specialized training, because today 99% of super specialized training is with the private sector. Government sector has to work on that area also and look for international collaborative research in these government-aided institutions so that our students have a brighter ideas and they contribute better in terms of research, training, and the knowledge exchange which can happen in these places. The three pillars of teaching, research, and patient care, which is still true for not only for RP Center, for every institution of this country. They have to really look for improving in these three areas. I would say most important is teaching. In that, internationally recognized faculty contribution will be better. Exchange of programs with the various international agencies or programs, and that will showcase your infrastructure, talent, and your, you can say, super specialization happening in these patients. Research is a very important part, not only for institution, for our country also. Patient care will always go through with these three aspects. I can understand RP Center is there for last almost 6 decades in service of country. I think that is what we have achieved, and it's not a few people in RP Center. The RP Center has wings across the country, and the country is serviced very, very nicely, effectively. Thank you for your kind listening.
Thank you, Professor Tetial, sir, for that wonderful talk. May I now request Professor Harsha Bhattacharjee to speak about his journey at the Shankar Deva Netralaya.
Good afternoon to all. I'll briefly tell the story of Sri Shankar Deva Netralaya, Guwahati. I understand India is the global leader in blindness prevention. This glory of Indian ophthalmology is a joint achievement of all institutions and workforce and the result of a concerted effort under the national program. Our story is a running title of untiring collective human efforts, people participation, equity, empowerment, and humanity. A tale telling of how by constant preoccupation, a small resolution of an unknown person shaped the course of ophthalmology in Northeast India. Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. One prime secret of our success is our confidence in our own human capital, clever utilization of resources and materials. We work for sustainable development, finding new ways of research and technology where quality is the priority over number. Our strategy is working behind the scene without asking for a spotlight. We desire to touch the life of the people whom we serve. Graceful acceptance and action upon people's suggestion, criticism and support are very much in our agenda. The scorecard of accomplishment is as follows: people's recognition and the extraordinary award bestowed on us by the Planning Commission, Finance Commission, Ministry of Donor of India, and the Government Assam for outstanding, significant, and continuous social contribution in eye care and education in the region have made us humble, honored, and different. Our unique salient perspective is evidence-based care, precision technology, education, research, community service, and innovation. A voice is there, can I get it? Excuse me? The voice is not coming.
Ophthalmology. Divine wish and desire of their holiness Sri Shankaracharyas of Kanchi, Kamakoti, Pitham, Kanchipuram, untiring human efforts, sustained public support and the need of the people in general coalesced to give shape to a social service institution for providing eye care on the 14th of October 1994, namely Sri Shankardev Netralaya, named after the great Vaishnavite saint of Assam, Sriman Shankardev, came into existence.
Sri Shankar Dev Netralaya's vision is to be the center of excellence and transform eye care in the nation. With its mission to improve the vision and well-being of the patient it serves, Sri Shankar Dev Netralaya holds on to its topmost priority to render patient care, education, research, and community service. Sri Shankar Dev Netralaya continues to uphold its practice of providing service with quality, care, trust, and compassion, thereby touching the lives of the patients.
Dedication, teamwork, discipline, and ethical approach to work, along with continued support from public, private, corporate, and government institutions and people from all walks of life has been instrumental to the sustained growth of the institution. On the 24th of November 1995, the then Prime Minister of India, late P.V. Narasimha Rao, dedicated the services of the institution to the nation. The subsequent visit of the then President of India, late K.R. Narayanan, on the 9th of November 1998, further strengthened its status. An endeavor which started off as an eye care center with just 5 patients has today been transformed into a world-class eye hospital with state-of-the-art facilities under the efficient management of its parent trust, Sri Kanchi Shankara Health and Educational Foundation. Being a hospital unit of the Registered Charitable Trust, the hospital had involved itself in rendering community eye care service to the poor and needy. It was only befitting that the community services was dedicated to the nation by the then Governor of Assam, late L.N. Mishra, on the 26th of March 1997. The hospital also established its own eye bank, which was accredited by the Eye Bank Association of India, or EBAI, as the first corneal transplant center of the northeastern region. As demand for its services grew manyfold, the institution moved into its own new building premises on the 26th of October 2001, constructed with central government support and aid. The former Prime Minister of India, Dr. S. Manmohan Singh, visited the institution on the 21st of November 2004, when it was declared by him as a center of excellence in eye care.
This renowned institution as a center of excellence.
In collaboration with Orbis International, an international aid agency for eye health, the Pediatric Ophthalmology Outpatient Department was set up, which was inaugurated by the then President of India, late APJ Abdul Kalam, on the 9th of March 2007. The hospital had embarked on 2 expansion projects for creation of additional infrastructures with Government of India support and aid by constructing 2 new buildings, Institute of Ophthalmology and Institute of Community Ophthalmology, to accommodate various super specialty clinics of ophthalmology. The main hospital building features 10 state-of-the-art operation theatres, outpatient departments, a ward with 60 beds and an investigation department. Besides, it also houses some specialty clinics such as cataract and refractive surgery, vitrio and medical retina, glaucoma, orbit, oculoplastics, orthoptics, medical photography, LASIK laser and Botox, all offering specialized services. The Institute of Ophthalmology building, on the other hand, accommodates 2 outpatient departments, a few state-of-the-art laboratories and a medical records department. It also houses a few other branches of ophthalmology like cornea, community ophthalmology and eye bank, pediatric ophthalmology, squint and low vision aid, uvea clinic, all offering their specialized services as well. The hospital today is able to serve with more precision and perfection, offering state-of-the-art outpatient department and inpatient ward care with a highly efficient administrative machinery backed by finance and accounts, human resource, electronic, data processing, quality assurance, biomedical engineering, maintenance, public relations, marketing, facility management, and security service departments. Sri Shankardev Netralaya has also emerged as a prestigious center for postgraduate education in ophthalmology and also for training paramedical in-service staff and students of other states. It has been the first in Northeast to set up a wet lab for imparting training in various complex surgical procedures under the National Program for Control of Blindness (NPCB) of Government of India. The institution ensures a busy academic calendar dotted with continuing medical education, CME programs, conferences, seminars and workshops both national and international. To reach out to the rural population, the institution launched a structural community service program. The program provides for rendering free eye care and treatment to poor and needy eye patients of the rural population at their doorsteps, 2-way transportation of patients from screening camps to the base hospital and back, stay accommodation, food, prescribed medicines and drugs during pre- and post-operative period of their treatment, all at no cost to them. The Institute of Community Ophthalmology building is dedicated to take care of these aspects of the community outreach service program of the institution. The Netralaya has assisted a few eye hospitals of the northeastern states of Tripura and Meghalaya as well as in the state of Haryana in developing quality human and technical resources for them. After completing its dedicated services to the nation for over 2 decades now, the Netralaya would like to redeem its solemn pledge to continue its humble contribution towards world-class eye care, community service, development of human resources, ophthalmic education, and research and comprehensive eye care to all. On the academic front, it runs a postgraduate course in ophthalmology (DNB) with affiliation to National Board of Examinations under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. A school of optometry was also started for running a 4-year BSc degree course in optometry and a 1-year diploma course in paramedical ophthalmic assistance and ophthalmic nursing.
So, impact study by Wharton Global Health USA on our community model and game-changing role played by the accredited social eye care activist. They have conducted a study and the result will be published soon. We are also in the process of establishing WHO Southeast Regional Collaborative Center at our institution. So we pledge to contribute to the society using our 27 years of experience. And thank you all. Thank you for the patience hearing.
Thank you, Professor Bhattacharya, sir. I would request Dr. Arun Singhvi to come up to speak about the story of ASG. Otherwise, Dr. Kamal Bandhu Kapoor, the story of Sharps.
A very good afternoon. I think speaking from this podium actually is a very humbling experience, especially to speak after the giants in ophthalmology, people who have been doing yeoman of service to Indian ophthalmology. So I think I'm here to share the small little story of organization called Sharpsight Group of Eye Hospitals. So we will actually do a flashback. I will share where we are today and then we'll take a flashback. I'm lucky to be born to a father who, apart from being a doctor, was an excellent poet too. So this is one of my father's poems. He used to say, "Manzil mil hi jayegi, bhatakte hue hi sahi. Gumrah to wo hain jo ghar se nikle hi nahi." So for people who don't understand Hindi, it means that you will find your destination one day or the other. The people who are actually lost are the ones who've never left their house. So keeping this in mind, we started our journey of Sharpsight. So this is what Sharpsight is there today. Sharpsight wants and believes in actually delivering. Our motto is patient delight. A happy patient is not good enough. The motto I give my team is, I want delighted patients. I want ecstatic patients. So the whole infrastructure, the game, is designed around making patients thrilled. Comfortable journey for the patient into the organization, within the organization, the experience with the doctors, the surgical experience is got one aim. We want smiling, laughing patients going out, and rest follows by itself. So this is a small video of how we work. So we have people who are engaging with the patients even while the patients are sitting, lest they don't feel ignored. They feel taken care of. Regular coffee, teas being served at no cost to the patient even while they're waiting. If the surgery is getting delayed, the organization pays for the lunch for the patients and their relatives. We don't charge money for these. Patients who are old don't have family members to bring them. We send pick up and drop facilities at our own cost. No added fees to the structure of the surgical fees. So this, I realized, was my market impact feature. This is what probably differentiated us from the other people in the private market, because patients somehow realized that we are out there to do something different. The best example is we will have patients who probably live nearby our hospitals but have moved away. They book a cab service and they still want to come to us even if they move 20 kilometers away from the organization. So we have actually realized that eye care actually is much beyond eye care. It is eye care. So once this message goes across to the patient, because patient experience is more than 60-70% of the eye care actually we deliver. Everybody is doing a beautiful clinical surgical outcome for these patients. So I feel in private practice what we can differentiate is by making the patients feel cared for, being taken care, being respected. So we have training programs, of course not like the stalwarts here. I do personal trainings, skill transfer of the counselors, optoms, we have training schedules, we have online training, surgical trainings, morning huddles, twice to thrice a week, surgical mentoring trainings, CMEs. So this forms the whole structure of the organization. So we have a front end, which is a commercial organization. We have a teaching system. What we generate in the market is quality eye surgeons who will do great ethical practice once they go out. So we have a training protocol for young practitioners who want to set out to do practice. We give them basics of profit loss, AOPs, bank loans. So everything is built into the part of training for the doctors who join me. So that I probably am able to kindle that fire of entrepreneurship in the new people who join. So now we are coming up with the 15th center. So this is our center in Srinagar. This is Jammu. So now after having some bouts of investments coming into my organization, we are going at a very fast scale. We're coming up with 20 more hospitals in next 2 years. We have a very, very rock steady team of back-end, telemarketing, social media, copywriters, quality control, mentors, HR trainers. With complete utilization of technology, social media, booking appointments, apps. And we are coming with a flagship center of nearly 45,000 square feet, new center coming up within the next 3-4 months in Delhi. So after this is the flashback. How did the journey start? And I'm happy to welcome Dr. Harbans Lal, who's one of my teachers and one of my mentors who's sitting in the front row. He's busy talking. So we started from a one-room clinic in my house. This is my ground floor. I have looked some photographs. We bought the first portable machine where I could make money by doing freelancing and shadow surgeries for people. So I would put this machine into my car and go and operate for various surgeons, doing shadow surgeries, making money from there to buy my own machine. So then I joined with my partner, and together we started having a dream to make affordable eye care, at least in Delhi NCR. We started with a small team of 2 optoms, 1 OT technician. Slowly, we realized that the power of media is very, very nice. So we started exposing ourselves to social media on the television, radio, and newspapers. Our first center was inaugurated by the health minister. This center was very small. This was a 2,500 square feet center. But we had the vision and the dream of having somebody big to come and inaugurate it. So we had 2 or more, 3 more doctors. So this is, I'm going into the flashback from what you saw. We had 1 small operation theater, a very, very basic microscope, and a Millennium machine. The machine Stellaris you see is one again called for a demo. So that's how we started. Then the team grew. We had some marketing people, added more optoms and counselors. The team grew more again. We added more professional trained people into the team. Now the work grew. In the same small operation theater, we put in 2 tables. From the same operation theater, we were churning more patients. Then we tied up with Dr. Maipal, the Doyen himself, and we became a partner with a part of Center for Sight. And then in 2004, we had 4 eye hospitals in Delhi, and the team was growing. So being early adapters, I think was a good thing that we saw the market, we understood the market. We were the first one in Delhi NCR to switch to electronic medical records. We had professionally trained counselors by professional people. Then we had visiting consultants to build in our retina practice because we did not have enough of subspecialty work with us. We had people come in, visit, and help us build these departments. And slowly the work grew. And then finally we got our own panels. And then we realized that the best way to attract patients is go to your patients yourself. We went to the market to create awareness, talk, give public lectures. We started giving pick-up and drop facilities to all our elderly patients who could not afford or didn't have the means to reach us. We started doing these public connection awareness programs in schools and clinicals. So this is what gave us the brand recognition in the market. This is during the early field. One thing we realized was that the biggest backbone of any organization is the human resource. So as before I started my talk, I said, human resource, human resource, human resource. It's the team which makes an organization. What you see here is just me. I am the face of SharpSight. There are nearly 1,000 people behind me who have made us reach here. So we started doing this, calling these professionals to train us, do human resource training, technology skill upgradation. We tied up with big politicians to patronize us, probably give us more limelight. I think I'm getting looks from Dr. Partho to close my talk. And this is the price we pay for coming somewhere in the last part of the thing. So I guess I'll close it. But one bottom line is we need as doctors to learn how to build teams, how to have an entrepreneurial mindset, and give patient a delight apart from the clinical treatment and medical treatment we give them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kamal. And as a good friend, you've done justice to your talk and you have saved time. Thank you so much. May I call Dr. Harmanslal sir to come on the podium and be on the dais, sir, for the next two talks. And it's my pleasure to call upon Dr. Ajay Sharma. And Ajay Sharma is going to tell us the story of IQ Group of Hospitals.
Presentation. Say good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, AIS, for inviting me here. The glory is not about the story which I'm going to tell. The glory is about that I'm here presenting in front of stalwarts like here, and especially Dr. G.N. Rao sir. I think my inspiration has been from him to do something in ophthalmology. So I'll say the story behind starts when I just finished my post-graduation, and when I went to gathering, my father being an ophthalmologist, I was probably known as a son of Dr. J.L. Sharma, and that was a time when I thought I'll come back in this organization or with these people when I have my own name, and that was the time when I did my short-term fellowships at LV Prasad, and following that I came back, and the thing was I started my practice, phaco practice, way back in 1996 when very less number of people were even struggling to do phaco. So following which I built a hospital, and it was around 100-bedded hospital, but IQ as such was born out of fear in 2007. Now, fear was that we were a 100-bedded hospital where ophthalmology was a part of it. It was a multi-specialty hospital in Gurgaon. You know how it is if you have been in that part of country, how developed
that part of India is, and there were many such hospitals which were coming up, and I thought that we are going to lose the charm of being a 100-bed hospital. So let me do what I know the best, and the best which I knew was ophthalmology. So I thought of maybe setting up few centers, and that was the time I met my partner Rajat Goyal, who was working in Bausch and Lomb as a director, and we joined hands together, and thus on 2014, 14 January 2007, IQ was born. So IQ, what we aimed at then is the vision is to be foremost chain of eye hospitals in terms of both quality of eye care and number of patients, and to make every patient an ambassador of IQ through a combination of all these things: the highest level of quality, exceptional personal care, complete integrity to the patient and his or her needs. Now the base I had was mainly which was transparent organization, ethical organization, professional organization. This is what I do, and this is what I tell all my doctors in the organization. So what do we have now? Though it has been a journey from 2007, we started with the one center uh, in first center in Rewari, and then we grew slowly. But today we have 80 plus expert doctors. We have 700 plus trained staff. We have affordable world-class eye care we are giving to the patients, and we are empaneled with all TPAs, CGHS, ECHS, Ayushman, Haryana government. Now, this is why I'm saying is we don't miss on these, because we have to treat these people who are empaneled, even the Ayushman patients, where we are operating just for mere sum of 7,500 rupees. Excellence in quality, with the 21 of our hospitals are, of the 39 hospitals are NMBH accredited or certified, and last 10 will be done in this year. This is our leadership team, where we have me, the CEO, the medical director for Aetna, CFO and IT head, and we are now, these are the departments for the youngers to understand why these are important, because if you grow and build an organization which is just like a corporate, then you have to have all these departments taking care of each and everything. And this is something the organization structure is, where we have two verticals, where one is a clinical vertical headed by me, then is a operations vertical headed by Mr. Rajat Goyal. Now this is how it is done, where you have chief medical director, then regional or medical directors, then we have a clinical in charge in all our centers who takes care of the clinical aspects of ophthalmology there. Then we have in-house consultants. Other than the clinical in charge, there will be other consultants, and they'll then notice staff and optometrist. For the CEO, he has the CFO, VPHR, AVP, purchase, IT, quality, and head of optical sales. Now, all these clubbed together form a combined approach and combined organization, which is IQ, and we aim to bring it a very clear hospital chain, which is now around 39 centers, out of which 3 are outside India. Now, we have treated 75 lakhs of patients already, and we have done more than 3 lakhs of surgeries. Now, there was a time when we were growing, and we went even up to 47 centers, but every day is not the same. We were not growing well, and there we were losing money, and because the investors and all are there, so we had to choose to close some of the hospitals. We consolidated in around 2016, and that was the time we closed 7-8 centers. So you do not shy away from that. If you have to close such centers, you've been an entrepreneur, you have to know you should not be losing money. After all, you have to earn money for yourself and for your staff, and definitely for your country. This was a time in 2017 we got an opportunity to go to Nigeria, where we started our first center in Lagos in 2017, and now we have we have 3 centers in Nigeria. For us, in last 4 years, we have saved around 18 million US dollars forex of Nigerian government, because the patients from there used to go outside to to maybe UK, to Dubai and all that. And for after COVID, definitely the growth has been immense. We are growing around 75% year on year there. And this was the last center in Abuja, which was inaugurated by the president of Nigeria. Academics, scientific committee, along with Fund for Doctors, is a must for us. We have all talked about academics, which we have seen all the big organizations which already do academics, but it is a part of it. We organize a yearly conference by the name of Optha Quest, which is attended by more than 300, 400 doctors across India. It is not only IQ, which does it in the name of Optha Quest. And we have our own meetings, the doctor meeting, CMEs and all, and definitely fun, as probably in the session before Dr. Ramurthy said, it is very important to have fun, whether we are doctors or for the staff. The important part about all this is that we are training 150 local people are being trained in different specialties. We have optometrists being trained. We have around 60 of them on board as of now. We have PREs, which is patient relation executives, which are being trained. Then we have our center managers, which are the operation managers. We hire from the institutes directly, and we train them, and so that they become our clinic operation managers in our different centers, which we are growing. And we do a social impact where we are delivering inclusive world-class eye care to patients in rural and underdeveloped areas. We do around 80 to 85 camps in North India, and around 40 such camps in West in Gujarat. And we don't shy away from treating, as I said, underprivileged patients. And we are 30% of our patients treated belong to less than 1,000 per month of income. Now, for any organization, these things are very important. When you're doing a good work, you feel good when you get these awards, and definitely when you are being recognized in various either media, or whether you have your stories around, and this is something we all aspire for. So this is just what we have, and we are growing, and we want to grow further. From this year onwards, we'll be doing 5 to 6 centers every year on year in this country, and around 2 centers across outside world, mainly in Africa. And thank you very much. This is our view of our first center, which we started, and that's how we have grown from there. Just 1 minute of this video, if it works. So these are our initial days, just some memories what we have from 2007, what we did, and slowly how we have grown from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rao, sir, Dr. Habans, and members of the dais. So now we talk a little bit about the story of I7. So this is a story of basically me, a young dreamer who aspired to make it big. I think everybody at that age is like me. Everybody dreams that he would like to make it big one day. I was just like any other normal ophthalmologist, passing out my MS from Amritsar 35 years back, and I moved to Delhi with this dream. So I took a leap into practice. That was in 1991. My wife is also a doctor, not an ophthalmologist, and she took a permanent job in a government hospital in ESI, and that became our financial security. Now we knew there is one earning member who would get a fixed salary, and I could afford to take risk and experiment. So I decided to take the plunge, and we launched Chaudhary Eye Center. That time it was very typical that every doctor used to start his practice by his own name. I was just one of them. So, my father was a retired army officer, and he proudly said, "Son, I have given all my children the best of education. Now, each of you have to charter your own course." I think that is what all parents say. Some children are lucky, they are born with a silver spoon, but most of us at that time came in from middle class families and they had to charter their own course. He gave me a purse of just 25,000. He says, "That's all I can give you." I bought a second-hand slit lamp, a retinoscope, a thalmoscope, a trial set, and he gave me a room in the house to set up the practice. That's it. And I waited for my first patient. That was the big challenge. How is that first patient going to come in? So this is the center I was in. There's a small little shed there. That was the entry to my room where I started practice in Daryaganj. The rest of the house was on rent, and well, we had a humble beginning. So, how do we get the first patient? That is always a big question mark in the mind of every young ophthalmologist who starts practice. The standard sources are, you talk to the GPs of your area, you talk to the optical outlets of your area, you talk to the chemists of your area, you become a member of the local medical associations. I became a member of the Delhi Medical Association, Central Delhi, and I became the secretary. I got to know all the local doctors, and some patients started trickling in. Then I realized that you have to embrace new technology, and the new technology gives you a competitive edge. In 1995, just 4 years down the line, I was still very fresh. The buzz around LASIK started. Nobody had a LASIK at that time. One, two doctors were giving presentations of the things to come. RK was still in vogue. And the talk started that somebody is going to install LASIK in Delhi. And the machine was costing just over 1 crore, but that time 1 crore was a phenomenal figure. 1 crore, you couldn't believe it. So we convinced in Daryaganj, where I was practicing, there's a nursing home called Sanjeevan Nursing Home, and I somehow convinced him that this is going to be big time in the future. And he agreed to invest, and we gathered a team of 5 people, and we got moving. We put up the Nidec excimer laser, and then the other 4 were stalwarts. They were doing huge volumes. I was just a young fresher into the system. And I was wondering, how am I going to get into the mainstream? So, I had to project myself as a LASIK surgeon. And I followed a fairly regular protocol which people follow. I reached out to the medical reporters of newspapers. I used to sit with them in clubs, have drinks with them, spend hours with them, give them the whole topic to write, and then they used to publish it. And since the topic was new and interesting, I was fortunate to get articles in Times of India, Hindustan Times, Indian Express, The Hindu, Navbharat Times, India Today, The Week, scores of magazines and newspapers. Overnight, I was a LASIK surgeon. Then it has to be sustained. It's not that you can do one line of promotions and that's the end of it. So we bought column space, weekly column space with a couple of magazines and newspapers. And that we ran for not only months but years together. Question answer formats. The patients asking questions, we giving them an answer. So there was a connect. And my clientele started going fast upwards. Then one day, when I was in Guru Nanak Eye Center, we had a house surgeon, Sanjeev Malik, son of Dr. S.R.K. Malik. You all know his name. Even Sanjeev Malik is no more now. He said, boss, you have to come into academics to be visible. Some of that line got into my head. You have to be in academics to be visible. So I decided to go about it. I decided to be at the forefront of technology. I had that passion to acquire the latest equipment. I still have that passion now. And I had presentations on all new launches. People started recognizing me as somebody who is tech savvy and speaks well on new releases. My graph started moving further. And then at that time, what Dr. Tityal was talking about, there was an era coming up of subspecialties. Ophthalmology was getting into 7 subspecialties, these ones. And I felt that now the time has come for the next big jump. And we launched I7, the story of which I'm telling you right now. So we realized that Chaudhary Eye Center cannot go on now. It cannot be a one-man show. It has to be a team of doctors. It has to be that the doctors are working for an organization and they're not working for Sanjay Chaudhary. So the name had to be totally different. We had to shelve Chaudhary Eye Center and make a brand name. Now the question was, what should be that brand name? So we had lots of discussion that what are the important ingredients of a brand name. So the brand name should be short and catchy so that you can remember it. It cannot be a long 1, 2 words or 3 words. It should be alphanumeric so that it cannot be copied. So you just can't have some advanced center or laser center or laser vision. These are general words. Alphanumeric cannot be copied. So you cannot fringe on the rights of that brand. It should have something which gives an idea that this is something to do with eyes. And it should represent the 7 specialties, subspecialties which we are talking about. So we had so many combinations, almost 20, 30 combinations. But finally we settled down, and what was born was I7 Eye Hospital. Short, sweet, alphanumeric. You hear it once, you cannot forget it. Now, the next challenge. We have done this. We have set up a team. We have the doctors with us. And now we have to reach out to the people of Delhi and NCR. So the next step was that we divided Delhi and NCR into 5 zones and started planning a North Zone Center, a South Zone Center, a East Zone Center, a West Zone Center. In Central Delhi we were. And that led to what we became a chain of eye centers in Delhi and NCR. We are still expanding. There's a big hospital coming up in Noida. Yeah, just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just talk about the last slide. Just a minute. So this is our present scene. This is our center, the main center. We set records in the Guinness Book of World Records for doing the maximum contura surgeries in a day. We set a record for doing the maximum ICLs in a day. We started the I7 Kids Center. We kept thinking about ideas, we kept implementing it, and till now we have felt that our journey has been really good, but we are not stopping. The process continues. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir, for being here.